Hello, my best students, and welcome again to your channel, Native Flow. Today, we are going to explore one of the most powerful apps ever created, an app that changed entertainment, changed marketing, changed music, changed business, and honestly, changed the way millions of people spend their time every day. TikTok. Now, here's something fascinating. Just a few years ago, almost nobody outside China had heard of TikTok. Today, it has billions of users around the world. Students use it, businesses use it, celebrities use it, governments talk about it, and millions of people open it every single day. But how did this happen? How did a simple short video app become one of the most influential platforms on Earth? Why is it so addictive? Why does its algorithm seem to know exactly what people want to watch? How did TikTok transform unknown creators into global stars overnight? And why has it become one of the most discussed technology companies in modern history? Because honestly, TikTok is not just a social media app. It is a story about technology, psychology, attention, business, innovation, and the future of digital communication. In this episode, you will discover how TikTok was created, who founded the company behind it, why its algorithm became so powerful, how it changed music, marketing, and online business, why governments around the world became concerned about it, and what the future of TikTok may look like. And while listening, you will improve your English naturally through technology vocabulary, business vocabulary, social media vocabulary, listening practice, storytelling, and deep comprehension. So, relax, listen carefully. And let's begin with chapter number 1, the little app nobody expected to conquer the world. Before we continue, let me tell you something important. Watching free videos can help you learn, but real transformation happens when you stop consuming and start committing. That's exactly why I created the English Master course. This isn't just another English course. It's a complete English learning system designed to help you finally stop struggling and start speaking with confidence. Inside, you'll get step-by-step video lessons, practical exercises, worksheets, PDFs, books, direct WhatsApp support, exclusive bonuses, and a community of motivated learners who are on the same journey as you. But the most valuable thing isn't the content, it's the guidance. Because most learners don't fail because they're not smart enough. They fail because they feel lost, overwhelmed, and inconsistent. That's why you're never alone inside this course. When you have questions, you can reach out. When you need help, you can ask. When you lose motivation, you'll find support. This is not school English. This is real English for real life. English for conversations. English for opportunities. English for confidence. English for the future you want to build. And the best part? You don't just get access to what's available today. You'll continue receiving future updates, new materials, bonus resources, and improvements as the course grows. One decision today can completely change the way you learn English for years to come. So if you're serious about becoming fluent, if you're tired of starting over, if you're ready to invest in yourself and finally take your English to the next level, click the link below. Join the English Master course. Learn once, improve forever. Let's begin your journey to real English fluency. Chapter number 1. The little app nobody expected to conquer the world. Every giant company starts small, very small, and honestly, TikTok is one of the best examples of this truth. Because before it became one of the most downloaded apps on Earth, before governments discussed it, before businesses invested billions into it, before creators built careers from it, TikTok was simply an idea. An idea born inside a Chinese technology company called ByteDance. Now let's go back to the early 2010s. The internet was already changing rapidly. People were consuming more content than ever before. But something important was happening. Attention spans were getting shorter, much shorter. People wanted information faster, entertainment faster, everything faster. And one entrepreneur noticed this trend very early. His name was Zhang Yiming. Now, honestly, Zhang Yiming wasn't trying to create a social media revolution at first. His original focus was something different. Artificial intelligence, algorithms, personalized content. He believed that computers could learn what people wanted to see and then automatically deliver it. At the time, this idea seemed ambitious. Today, it sounds normal. But back then, it was revolutionary. Now, here's something fascinating. Most social media platforms were built around people. You followed friends. You followed celebrities. You followed pages. The platform showed content based on who you followed. Simple, predictable. But ByteDance had a different vision. Instead of asking, "Who do you follow?" they asked, "What captures your attention?" And honestly, that question changed everything. Because attention is often a stronger signal than friendship. Now let's talk about ByteDance's first major success. Before TikTok, the company launched a news platform in China called Toutiao. The platform used artificial intelligence to recommend articles based on user behavior. What people clicked, what people read, what they ignored. The more people used it, the smarter it became. And honestly, this technology would later become the foundation of TikTok. Now here's where the story gets interesting. By 2016, smartphones were everywhere. Mobile internet was growing rapidly. Video content was becoming more popular every year, and ByteDance saw a huge opportunity. People loved videos, but many platforms still focused on longer content. What if videos became shorter, much shorter? What if they became easier to create, easier to consume, easier to share? This idea led to the creation of an app called Douyin in China. And honestly, almost nobody expected what would happen next. The app exploded. People loved it. Short videos, fast entertainment, endless discovery, instant engagement. The formula worked incredibly well. Now here's something important. Douyin and TikTok are technically different versions of the platform. Douyin operates primarily in China. TikTok became the international version, but both shared the same core idea. Short-form video powered by an incredibly intelligent recommendation system. Now let's talk about timing, because timing matters enormously in business. Sometimes a good idea fails because it arrives too early. Sometimes a good idea fails because it arrives too late. TikTok arrived at exactly the right moment. People were already spending more time on their phones. Internet speeds were improving. Smartphone cameras were getting better. And younger audiences wanted new forms of entertainment. Everything aligned perfectly. Now here's another fascinating lesson. Many successful companies solve a problem. TikTok solved boredom. Think about that. Whenever people had a spare minute, waiting in line, riding a bus, sitting at home, taking a break, TikTok offered instant entertainment, fast, simple, personalized. And honestly, that made the app incredibly appealing. Now, before we finish this chapter, I want you to remember something important. TikTok did not become successful because it invented video. Video already existed. It did not become successful because it invented social media. Social media already existed. It became successful because it understood attention better than almost anyone else. And in the next chapter, we'll discover how TikTok's algorithm became so powerful and why millions of people found themselves unable to stop scrolling. Chapter number 2, the algorithm that changed social media forever. Now, let's talk about the real secret behind TikTok's success. Because honestly, TikTok's videos are important. Its design is important. Its creators are important. But none of those things explain why the platform became so powerful. The real secret is the algorithm. And some experts consider it one of the most effective recommendation systems ever created. Now, here's something fascinating. When most people joined social media before TikTok, they needed to build an audience, follow people, add friends, find creators, create a network. Only then would the platform become interesting. TikTok changed this completely. Imagine downloading TikTok for the first time. You have 0 followers. You follow nobody. You know nothing about the platform. Yet within minutes, TikTok starts showing videos you actually enjoy. How? Because the platform pays close attention to behavior, not just what you say, but what you do. Now think about this. When you watch a video, TikTok notices. When you finish a video, TikTok notices. When you replay a video, TikTok notices. When you like something, TikTok notices. When you share something, TikTok notices. When you skip something immediately, TikTok notices that too. Every action becomes information. And honestly, millions of these tiny signals help the algorithm understand users remarkably well. Now here's the genius part. TikTok doesn't need you to explain your interests. It observes them. Many people say, TikTok knows me better than I know myself. Of course, that's an exaggeration, but it shows how accurately the system often predicts preferences. Now let's talk about the famous For You page. This feature changed social media forever. Before TikTok, social media was often based on who you followed. TikTok shifted the focus toward content itself. A creator with 0 followers could suddenly reach millions of people. Why? Because the algorithm cared more about engagement than popularity. And honestly, this created enormous opportunities. Unknown creators could become famous overnight. Small businesses could suddenly go viral. Musicians could reach global audiences. Ordinary people could build careers from their bedrooms. Now here's something important. The algorithm constantly runs experiments. Imagine you upload a video. TikTok first shows it to a small group of people. If those people watch it, engage with it, and enjoy it, the algorithm shows it to more people. If performance remains strong, the audience grows again, and again, and again. This process allows content to spread incredibly fast. Now let's talk about psychology, because honestly, TikTok is not only a technology story, it's also a psychology story. Remember our episode about dopamine addiction? TikTok combines several powerful psychological triggers: novelty, unpredictability, entertainment, instant rewards, infinite scrolling. Every swipe creates uncertainty. You don't know what comes next. Maybe a funny video, maybe a shocking fact, maybe a motivational story, maybe something completely unexpected. And the brain loves uncertainty because uncertainty creates anticipation. and anticipation creates engagement. Now, here's another reason TikTok became so successful. The barrier to entry was extremely low. You didn't need expensive equipment. You didn't need professional editing. You didn't need a large budget. You just needed a smartphone. This democratized content creation. Millions of people who never imagined becoming creators suddenly had an opportunity. And honestly, that changed the internet. Now let's look at the business side. TikTok's success created pressure on every major social media company. Suddenly, everyone wanted short-form video. Soon, other platforms responded. Instagram launched Reels. YouTube launched Shorts. Even companies that once focused on other formats began adapting. Why? Because TikTok had proven something important. The future of social media was changing. Fast. Now here's a fascinating lesson for entrepreneurs. The biggest innovations are not always completely new inventions. Sometimes they are improvements. TikTok didn't invent video. It didn't invent social networking. It combined existing ideas in a better way. And honestly, that combination changed an entire industry. Now, before we finish this chapter, I want you to remember something important. TikTok's greatest achievement wasn't creating videos. It was mastering attention. The platform learned how to understand what people wanted to watch, often before they consciously realized it themselves. And in the next chapter, we'll discover how TikTok transformed music, business, marketing, and the careers of millions of creators around the world. Chapter number 3, how TikTok changed music, business, and popular culture. Now let's talk about something extraordinary, because TikTok didn't just become a successful app. It changed entire industries: music, marketing, advertising, entertainment, business. And honestly, very few platforms in history have had this level of influence in such a short period of time. Now let's begin with music. Before TikTok, many songs became popular through radio stations, music, television, streaming platforms, or major record labels. But TikTok changed the process completely. Suddenly, a 15-second clip could transform an unknown song into a global hit. Think about that. Not a full album, not a major concert, not a huge advertising campaign, just a short video. And honestly, this completely shocked the music industry. Now imagine a young musician uploading a song online. Normally, reaching millions of listeners would be difficult. But on TikTok, one viral trend could change everything. A dance challenge, a funny video, a creative edit. And suddenly, millions of people hear the same song. Many songs that nobody expected to become famous exploded because of TikTok. Some artists built entire careers from a single viral moment. And honestly, record labels began paying close attention, because TikTok had become one of the most powerful music discovery tools in the world. Now let's talk about creators, because TikTok created opportunities that barely existed before. Imagine being a student, a teacher, a chef, a fitness coach, a language learner, a small business owner, or simply someone with an interesting idea. Before social media, reaching a large audience was incredibly difficult. Today, one video can reach millions of people. And honestly, this changed the lives of countless creators. Many people turned hobbies into careers, some became influencers, others launched businesses, some built personal brands, and others used TikTok as a stepping stone toward larger opportunities. Now, here's something fascinating. TikTok rewarded creativity more than production quality. You didn't need expensive cameras. You didn't need a professional studio. You didn't need a large team. Sometimes, a simple idea performed better than a costly production. And honestly, that made the platform feel accessible. People felt they had a chance. Now let's talk about business, because companies quickly realized something important. Attention was moving toward TikTok, and wherever attention goes, business follows. Soon, brands around the world began creating TikTok accounts. Some succeeded, others struggled. Why? Because traditional advertising often didn't work well on TikTok. People didn't want polished television commercials. They wanted authenticity, personality, entertainment, stories. The brands that understood this adapted quickly. The brands that didn't often got ignored. Now here's an important lesson. TikTok changed marketing from interruption to participation. Instead of forcing advertisements in front of people, successful companies became part of trends and conversations. And honestly, this represented a major shift in digital marketing. Now let's talk about education. This surprises many people because TikTok is often associated with entertainment, but it also became a learning platform. Teachers appeared, scientists appeared, historians appeared, language instructors appeared, business experts appeared. Suddenly, people could learn useful information in short, engaging formats. Of course, not all information was accurate, and that's important to remember. But the platform demonstrated something powerful. Education and entertainment could coexist. Now here's another fascinating impact. TikTok accelerated trends faster than almost any platform before it. Fashion trends, food trends, dance trends, travel destinations, books, products, everything could spread globally within days, sometimes within hours. A small trend in one country could suddenly appear on the other side of the world. And honestly, this created a new level of cultural connectivity. Now let's talk about entrepreneurship. Many small businesses experienced something remarkable. A single viral video could transform sales overnight. A bakery, a clothing brand, a coffee shop, an online store. One successful TikTok video sometimes generated more attention than years of traditional advertising. And honestly, that possibility attracted millions of entrepreneurs. Now here's the deeper lesson. TikTok didn't just create a new platform. It changed how attention moves through society. For decades, large media companies controlled most distribution. Today, an individual creator with a smartphone can compete for attention globally. That's an extraordinary shift. Now, before we finish this chapter, I want you to remember something important. TikTok's influence extends far beyond entertainment. It changed how music becomes popular, how businesses advertise, how creators grow audiences, and how ideas spread around the world. Few apps have changed culture so quickly, and in the next chapter, we'll explore the controversies, concerns, and global debates that made TikTok one of the most discussed technology platforms in the world. Chapter number 4. Why governments around the world became concerned about TikTok. Now let's talk about a completely different side of the TikTok story. Because every major technology platform eventually faces questions. Questions about privacy, questions about influence, questions about security. And honestly, TikTok became one of the most debated technology companies in modern history. Not because of its videos, not because of its creators, but because of its scale, its influence, and the amount of data involved. Now think about this. When an app reaches hundreds of millions or even billions of users, it becomes more than a business. It becomes part of society itself. Governments begin paying attention. Researchers begin paying attention. Journalists begin paying attention. And honestly, that's exactly what happened with TikTok. Now let's start with data, because data is one of the most valuable resources in the digital world. Every time people use social media, they generate information: what they watch, what they like, what they share, how long they stay on a video, what topics interest them. And honestly, this information helps platforms improve recommendations. But it also raises questions. Questions about privacy, questions about storage, questions about who can access the information. Now here's something important. These concerns are not unique to TikTok. Many technology companies face similar discussions, but TikTok attracted especially intense attention because of its global influence and its connection to a Chinese parent company. As the platform grew, governments in several countries began asking, how is user data handled? Where is the data stored? What protections exist? And honestly, these questions became major topics in public debates. Now let's talk about influence, because influence can be just as important as data. Remember, TikTok's algorithm decides which videos people see, and when billions of videos are uploaded, those decisions matter a lot. The platform can shape trends, conversations, public attention, consumer behavior, and honestly, that's an extraordinary amount of influence for any technology company. Now, here's a fascinating reality. For most of human history, newspapers influenced public opinion, then radio, then television. Now algorithms influence what millions of people see every day. And honestly, society is still learning how to handle that shift. Now let's talk about young users, because another major concern involved children and teenagers. Many experts worried about screen time, attention spans, mental health, and excessive social media use. Remember our episode about dopamine addiction? TikTok often appears in those discussions, not because it created the problem alone, but because its short video format can encourage long periods of scrolling. And honestly, many parents became concerned. Many teachers became concerned. And many researchers began studying the effects. Now here's something interesting. The same feature that made TikTok successful, its ability to keep people engaged, also became one of its biggest controversies. Because engagement is wonderful for business, but excessive engagement can raise questions about well-being. Now let's talk about competition, because TikTok's rise created pressure not only for businesses, but also for governments. Imagine a platform becoming one of the most influential media channels in the world within only a few years. Naturally, leaders begin asking questions. Regulators begin asking questions, and policies begin changing. This happened in multiple countries. Some governments restricted TikTok on official government devices. Others launched investigations. Others debated new regulations. And honestly, these discussions continue today. Now here's another important lesson. Whenever technology changes society rapidly, controversy usually follows. Think about television, the internet, social media, artificial intelligence. Every major innovation creates both excitement and concern. TikTok is no exception. Some people see enormous opportunities, others see potential risks. And honestly, both perspectives deserve consideration. Now let's look at TikTok's response. The company has repeatedly argued that it takes privacy and security seriously. It has invested heavily in infrastructure, transparency efforts, data protection initiatives, and communication with governments. Because honestly, maintaining trust is essential for any platform operating at a global scale. Now here's the bigger picture. The TikTok debate is really about something larger than TikTok itself. It's about the future of technology, the future of privacy, the future of algorithms, and the future of digital influence. These questions will not disappear. In fact, they may become even more important in the years ahead. Now, before we finish this chapter, I want you to remember something important. TikTok became controversial not because it was small, but because it became incredibly powerful. When a platform influences culture, business, entertainment, and communication across the world, people naturally begin asking difficult questions. And in the final chapter, we'll discover what the future may hold for TikTok and what its story teaches us about technology, attention, and the digital world. Chapter number 5. The future of TikTok and the lessons behind its success. Now we've reached the final chapter of the TikTok story. And honestly, the most interesting part may not be what TikTok has already achieved. It may be what happens next. Because technology never stands still. Platforms rise, platforms evolve, new competitors appear, user behavior changes, and the digital world continues moving faster every year. Now think about this. Only a few decades ago, the internet itself was new. Then came search engines, then social networks, then smartphones, then short-form video. Each generation of technology changed the way people communicate, and TikTok became one of the defining platforms of its era. But the question now is simple. What comes after TikTok? And honestly, nobody knows for sure. Now, let's talk about artificial intelligence, because AI is becoming increasingly important. Algorithms are already powerful, but future algorithms may become even more personalized, even more intelligent, even more capable of understanding user behavior. Imagine platforms that can predict interests more accurately, recommend content more effectively, and create even more personalized experiences. This future is already beginning. And honestly, TikTok helped accelerate this trend. Now let's talk about creators. One of TikTok's biggest achievements was proving that ordinary people can build extraordinary audiences. Before social media, becoming famous often required major media companies, television networks, movie studios, large publishers. Today, a creator with a smartphone can potentially reach millions. That idea changed the internet forever. And honestly, it will likely remain true long after TikTok itself evolves. Now, here's something fascinating. TikTok's biggest innovation may not have been video. It may have been opportunity. The platform gave opportunities to artists, teachers, entrepreneurs, musicians, small businesses, and everyday people. Many discovered careers they never imagined possible. And honestly, that's one reason TikTok became so influential. Now let's talk about attention, because attention may be the most important lesson in this entire story. Remember, TikTok succeeded because it understood attention exceptionally well. It understood what people watch, what people enjoy, what keeps them engaged. And honestly, every business in the modern world is learning the same lesson. Attention has become one of the most valuable currencies on Earth. Now here's the challenge. Attention is valuable because it is limited. Every person has only 24 hours in a day, only so much focus, only so much energy, and countless companies compete for those resources. This is why understanding attention matters so much, not only for businesses, but for individuals. Because if you don't decide where your attention goes, someone else will. Now let's talk about a lesson for English learners, because there is actually a connection here. Think about how many people spend hours consuming content every day: videos, shorts, social media, entertainment. What if even a small portion of that attention were invested in English? Listening practice, vocabulary, podcasts, reading, speaking. The results could be extraordinary. And honestly, that's one of the biggest lessons from TikTok. Attention creates outcomes. Whatever receives your attention repeatedly tends to grow. Now let's look at the future. Will TikTok remain dominant forever? Probably not. No platform stays on top forever. History shows this clearly. New technologies emerge, new competitors appear, user preferences evolve, and honestly, change is inevitable. But even if TikTok eventually loses its position, its impact will remain because it permanently changed social media, marketing, music discovery, creator culture, and digital entertainment. Those changes are unlikely to disappear. Now, here's the most important lesson of all. TikTok succeeded because it recognized a shift before most people noticed it. It saw that people wanted faster content, more personalized experiences, more opportunities to create, and it acted on that insight. This is a powerful lesson for life. Success often comes from recognizing change early, while others resist it, while others ignore it, while others are still debating it. Now, before we finish this episode, I want you to remember something important. TikTok is not just a story about an app. It's a story about innovation, human psychology, technology, attention, and adaptation. It's the story of how one idea transformed the habits of billions of people around the world. Whether you love TikTok, hate TikTok, or rarely use it, its impact on modern culture is impossible to ignore. Thank you so much for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to Native Flow for more English learning podcasts about technology, business, psychology, famous companies, history, and personal growth. Keep learning, keep improving, and remember, where your attention goes, your future often follows.